All right, there we go. Now we got signed. Hello, everybody. This is AJ, the CEO, and I guess I'm doing more of these live type of things. Hold on, maybe should my sound is going good. Pretty much, I'm doing these more often because pretty much y'all have asked for them. This Sunday, I am trying to get ready to make video announcements for this Sunday, which normally I would have already made by now, but it's been a lot of stuff going on at church, so we really haven't had a I haven't had a chance to sit down and actually do this yet. So wanted just to let you sit over my shoulder and watch what I'm doing. I'm really not doing that much different because I don't excuse me, I don't have to really make anything new, so this should be really simple, so I should be able to talk a lot more than me trying to create something off the top of my head. As if y'all have been following me for any amount of time when it comes to video announcements, I believe in actually doing this in a modular approach so that it's like Legos. You just add the pieces together, take the piece away if you don't need it, instead of having to make everything from the ground up all over again. I like making just one announcement at a time so that if we have events that are repeated, it makes it very simple to add them in if I need to do it again. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's cut back over to the computer. Let's bring up my picture-in-picture. And I am in the chat if you have any questions. Try and keep them to this related. I don't want to kind of really veer off with that. That's more of for the Q&A, and with post-production that's on tomorrow. So anyway, I'm here in DaVinci Resolve. I have my church project here, and I'm gonna go here into a newsroom of how I have everything sorted, and this is gonna be March 1st. And let's go ahead and create that. Like I said, I already have this everywhere, and let me move everything to the secondary monitor, and I'm gonna turn off dual screen so it's easy for y'all to see. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is come over here to our media, and I'm gonna bring in all of the resources pack for my church that I like to do, that I always talk about instead of having to bring everything over all over again. So I have a Resolve folder with everything in place. So I just bring that down in here, and it changed my resolution and frame rate, but I think that should be fine. I'm really not doing nothing different with that. Now, what I also have is on my Synology backup drive that you can't see, this over there somewhere. I have my announcements, and then I have announcement segments. These are the announcements that normally get reused over and over again. So especially if there's something like our grief ministry or something like that, I do it there so I don't have to keep doing it all over again. Now I have the sound routed through here, so y'all should be able to hear, but I can't. So let me get my headphones here, and I don't know where my, oh, there it is. My adapter here. And let me get my better headphones here so that I can actually hear what is going on. Headphones, plug in, mic, plug in. All right, now I should be able to hear everything. At least I thought I did. Maybe I shouldn't have unplugged this. Oh, there it goes. Now I can hear, but I can't hear me talking. So give me 1 second to fix that. And I'm doing this all in OBS. So, all right, now I can hear. So what we're gonna do is, like I said, these are all the stuff we have. So everything should be good. So let's go over here to edit. And I only need one timeline for this, so it's not that big of a deal. So I'm gonna go to Resolve. Let's make this bigger. And what I have are graphics and stock graphics. Or did I put it under stock? Yeah, I put it under stock. So I have my generic intro here. That's our countdown. And let's see, does the sound come through here? No, it doesn't. Hold on. preferences, audio, manual. We're going through the Blackmagic Mini, so y'all should be able to hear. Let's try it now. Still nothing. Awesome. I might have to drop it, but anyway, so let's I start off with this generic intro that has me talking. It says welcome, a little flyover here with the intro here. So let's drag that down here. It's still not playing. How about this? How about I turn the audio off and I'm just gonna come through the old-fashioned way. I'm gonna come through my regular speakers and y'all should hear it that way. All right, so you're gonna be hearing that as a follow-up to here. And now we need to go back in DaVinci Resolve and change the audio. Oh no. Oh, clicked way too fast for that. I didn't set these. All right, there it goes. All right, so let me crank that volume down a little bit. So when we started off, I have this generic intro. It always starts this way. Here. We want to take a few minutes to go through this week's announcements and everything going on here at Antioch. All right, that's it. So now what we're going to do is if I come over here to our schedule here, these are the only 3 announcements that are to be placed in our stuff. So we have our youth trip for people to make the final payments. We have a women's conference, and we have a gospel concert. Now, there's other stuff that I need to put in here. I need to put the men's conference in here that they didn't put in here, which is 2 weeks from now. So I'm going to add that because they forgot to do that, as well as we have a basketball tournament that they didn't place in here as well. So I'm going to have more that needs to be placed. All right, so now that we got this, now I just changed the order. Now I have one video that actually has somebody other than me talking in the announcements, and because of the wording, I'm gonna change that for later. So let's see, can I find where that was? Repeat ads. That was a prayer and praise jamboree that we just had, and I think I might not have added them all. Let me go here and my F drive. So we have the dinners we already did. That's Angie, who's going to be the other person that's on here. So basketball version 2 is one of the ads I need to add. That's me. Final payment is the one that I was talking about. Free concert I need to add. Women's conference. And there should be a men's conference here somewhere. Oh, here it is, men's conference version 2. All right, so I think we got everything this time. So now I just have to pick what order I want to go in. So we have the men's conference. It makes it really easy. I can do a transition in there, or I can do a straight cut from here. So when we play it, this week's announcements and everything going on here at Antioch. Please join us for the 2020 Antioch Men's Conference. Makes it real easy. All right, and the next thing we have, oh, I actually did have the basketball one already in here. So we'll bring the basketball in here again. Free concert. Got that. Then we have women's conference. Now what else am I forgetting? Free concert, women's conference, final payment. Free concert, women's concert, final payment is the one I need to do. And I'm going to do that one here because of the wording in it. Because if I play it here.
Also, if you have a youth or you personally are signed up for our spring trip, please remember that the final payment is due by March the 15th.
All right, now, because she hasn't said anything else, I know this is the stickler part of me. I'm going to cut that piece out. Really simple. So let's bring this over here, slide everything, and then I like to end with our church logo here. And I do a little fade in and fade out on that. But let's come in here and change this. Now I could have done this in two places. I could do this inside the window here, or I can do it in the timeline. So if I did it in here, let's go back to the beginning.
Also,
so right there, that's all I'm cutting off.
Also.
All right, so she's already said it. I'm gonna press the I key, which will cut off everything ahead of that. And then let's remove this one. And now let's bring this in. Let me get rid of the space. So if we finish it, 1314.
If you have a youth or you personally are signed up for our spring trip, please remember that the final payment is due.
Now, I'm gonna need to do a transition on this to hide this motion here. So right here, I'm gonna cut this a little bit, and well, let me do it. 14.
If you have a youth or
so I'm doing that transition right here that I want to hide. So I have some transitions that I already have that I switch back and forth throughout videos if I don't want to do a straight cut. So this one will be good. I'll just drag this here, and I line up where the clip touch, and I want the transition to cover that entire thing. So if I play it now, 1314.
If you have a youth or
so I could have it here that I want to hide all of that. I want to hide the transition from the other one, so I'll just slide the transition a little bit. 1314.
If you have a youth or you personally are signed up for our spring trip, please remember that the final payment is due by March the 15th.
All right, real simple. And again, I mean, I used to do this the old way that took me forever and a day to make because I made them from ground up all over again.
Sponsor.
On Saturday, March 28th. Now, I could put transitions in here if you want. Sometimes I mix and match. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But what I do is get right here in the middle so it's hidden.
Be a youth sponsor.
On Saturday, March 28th. See, very simple. And I just look at these to see how they end and see if they need a transition to hide anything. Of the Sharing the Love Ministry. On May, like this one, it cuts right there. So what I'm gonna do is add a little break in here, just a little bit. Take off the magnet there so I can bring it in a little bit closer. All right, so Love Ministry on May. Yes, I just want just a second. I don't want it to seem like it's a run-on sentence. And I want to hide this. All right, so let's look at this one. Emergency mission of the Sharing the Love Ministry. On May 2nd and 3rd, the women of Antioch. And it similarly matches how that transition. Hey, you're welcome, Rob. And see, by doing this, now, if y'all looked at my previous video where we were talking about how to make video announcements using Canva, just imagine you could download each individual one and then import it into DaVinci Resolve, and you can add music or somebody talking. That's what I think is kind of good. And then in DaVinci Resolve, if you need to expand it, repeat the video that you downloaded, shorten it, you can do that in here as well too. So let's see how this cuts over from the very beginning. Week's announcements and everything going on here at Antioch.
Please join us for the 2020.
And I might add a transition here. Let's zoom in so we can make sure it hides the video change here at Antioch.
Please join us for the 2020.
All right. See how this one ends.
David Edwards or Clarence Parker for more information.
All right, so I definitely need to cut this one because there's some leftover footage.
Information.
All right, so we're going to cut this.
Information. On March 20th, information.
Now I'm using some music here in the background, so when I add music here, I need to mute the music for this specific announcement. So I'm definitely going to use a transition here. I have another one. Again, this is all in the pack that I bought for the church at Invadu. So they made all these graphics, the intros, everything, and this is what I'm using instead of me creating this stuff.
For more information. On March 20th.
All right, so see, it hides that. Now, if y'all can tell, that is the Harlem Globetrotters theme. That's what was asked for when I made this by the person who requested it. Let's get rid of this. So as you can see, each one has a transition. Now let's fix this ending that I do. All right, so from right here, I found out where I finished talking. I'm gonna fade this out. And then I'm gonna bring in our logo at the same time. Actually, let's do it right at the end. So we're gonna zoom that in for 20 seconds. All right, so comes like that. And then we're gonna do some motion. I like to fade it out for 3 seconds. And we're gonna move it in. Actually, no, I did it for 2 seconds. Now that I think about it. Let's move that to 2. And so when it ends, then it fades out. But we need something more dramatic with that. So I select the clip, go to inspector, and we're gonna do some animation on it. So these little dots, those are your keyframes. So we're gonna do a keyframe here. Now I could fade this here as well too, instead of doing this. But I'm just gonna do the size. So I'm gonna start at 1, and then by the time I am here, another keyframe, I want this to be at 0.6. So now if we watch and do it,
Save the date.
see, it just fades large and then gets smaller. Very simple. All right, so now this is the clip that I need to not have music on. So I'm gonna right click and I'm just gonna change that color, just it makes it easier for me to notice. And then I need to find when, well, let's do some sound, and I'm gonna show you a little bit of advanced side chaining that I learned from Jamie Finn, I believe his name was. Check out his channel, really cool dude. In here, I'm gonna go to Fairlight, which handles the sound inside of DaVinci Resolve. Now we're gonna do side chaining. What that pretty much means is we're gonna let the track from audio 1, track 1, take priority. If anything else happens, background music that we're going to add on track 2, it's going to drop that volume so that you can hear whoever's on track 1 predominantly over that. And I used to do this manually, but until I learned this trick from him, which is really cool. So what we're going to do is, this is audio track 1. Let's double click on dynamics, and we're going to do send. I like to change the makeup to about 3 and turn on the compressor. This means that we're sending the signal to all the other tracks so that your tracks can hear and adjust volume based off of that. All right, that's all we have to do here. Now for every additional track, we're going to come in here and we're going to set the compressor on, set it to listen. Now I've been playing with these numbers. I do this on my channel too. If you hear any of my video, you hear the music just fade and then come up. That's for the produced ones, not the live one like this. I'm going to change the threshold to about 27. This is the volume of what you want the audio to drop to, that's going to be played, and you'll hear it here in a second. My ratio, I'm at 4.0. The attack, I do around 3.2. Now, these are not just random numbers. These are numbers that I've been playing with that I know work well in my situation. So I do 1995. This is for how long it holds before it changes back to the regular volume. And that's what the release does as well. I normally have these be exactly the same. All right. And that's it. So now let's go back over to edit, and let's get rid of this. We don't need inspector. And what we're going to do is find the exact point when the music of the intro ends. So if I come in here and play it, all right, so right here, that's when the music is faded out. So I selected this clip, and now I'm going to press the M key to make a marker. This is where I want the music to start fading in and coming in. Now, I have a bunch of music that I tried to talk about in a previous video, because we got, in a previous video, because our church got hit with a copyright strike because some fraudulent guy was claiming this guy's music, Scott Holmes. I use him for a bunch of stuff. And no, we are not related. Oh, did I spell his name wrong? Oh, I left this. So, excuse me. This is his music. If you don't see that this is owned by Scott Holmes, whoever person is doing it is lying. And that's kind of what I was dealing with. So again, this is royalty-free music. It does not cost anything. This is what I use for my background stuff for church. Check him out, scottholmesmusic.com. Again, I am not related to him, but this is the stuff I use. I use corporate. And he has a bunch of songs in here that I use, that I've downloaded, that I use, and they're perfect for background for church stuff. So if I play this, so stuff like that. So that's where I got mine from. So this is the collection of the stuff that I have here, and now I just find which one I think would go well with it, and I always rotate my music here. Nah, I'm not feeling that one today. I might use that one. And I'm just really just trying to find something, because it's behind the scenes. You're really not going to see it. I mean, you're not going to hear it. Being a musician, I like the thought of a movie type of concept. When you go to a good movie, you rarely remember the music. Like, for example, the Avengers. Everybody knows the iconic theme of that, but how much do you really notice the music throughout the rest of the movie? I think that's kind of a good thing. You just feel it. It's there. You really don't notice it. And I want to pick something that doesn't draw people's attention to the music over what's being said, but it needs something to be there in the background. So let's see. No. I think I did this last time. I'll be honest. I think I might use this one. I think I did this one last week, but I think I'm going to use this one. All right. So as you can see, we're going to come in here. Now I'm going to right click on this, normalize the audio. Now, if we play it, because now side chaining is going to kick in. Now let's watch and listen to what happens. Good morning, Antioch. I want to welcome you here. We want to take a few minutes to go through this week's announcements and everything going on here at Antioch.
Please join us for the 2020.
See, as you can see, it dropped the volume. Now, if I mute this and play it, see, it's very loud. But once I unmute the other track that's sending the signal,
Friday, March 13th through Sunday,
automatically brought it down. And you can play with those levels on how much you want to hear and how much you don't want to hear.
About God, and will feature 3 days of praise and
See, like right here, this is, you can't hear it that much, so I need to actually change that a little bit. So you could do it two ways. I'm gonna drop the makeup here and just see how that does. I'm gonna take a few minutes to go through this week's announcements and everything going on here at Antioch.
Please join us for the 2020 Antioch Men's Conference.
All right, so you can still hear the music, and I think the balance is better. Now, as you can see, the track does not take up the entire length of the video, but remember, this orange, I need the music to fade out. So let's go here, and I'm going to cut this with the B key, select the blade, and I'm going to click right there. And actually, I need to drag this over just a little bit. Let me take the magnet off. Drag it to right there, because I want it to fade by the time the other music kicks in. So let's turn the magnet back on, and we're gonna fade this. Let's do it like that, and let's see what that sounds like. Because I mean, excuse me, let me do this way, and then we're gonna fade this in as well, because we split it, and we're gonna move this to right here. And similarly, I want that the audio to be all the way back in by the time this next announcement comes in. So it's right there. So let's see. We're going to come in here and play this.
Please contact Nelson Colbert, Carl Dawes, David Edwards, or Clarence Parker for more information. On March 20th...
See, it faded out. Now, let's come back in here at the end and see how it sounds when the audio comes back in.
804-971-1314.
If you have a youth or you personally are signed up
All right,
for
see?
our...
Now, because of where we started, because we don't have enough, as you can see, we split this in half. So we have plenty of music ahead. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come in here, select where this started. Now, I'm not going to have a clip because I want this marker to be on the timeline. I click right there, press the M key so we know where this is. Now, what I'm going to do is drag this all the way to the end. And as you can see, the song actually ends by itself. So let's drag this here, and let's see what it sounds like here.
Save the date.
All right, I like that. Let's fade it just a little bit more so we can get that last bit. And let's do a fade there.
And save the date.
Maybe too aggressive of a fade. Let's do it just a second.
Save the date.
Perfect. Now, because we had so much ahead of this, now we're just going to drag this to that marker. And because we have so much of a music, it just compensated. Nobody's paying attention to where if we loop the second part that we've already heard. So we just play that one more time.
804-971-1314.
If you have a youth or you personally are signed up
All right.
for our spring trip, please remember
Now,
that the final payment is due by March the 15th. If you have not made a payment,
all right. Yeah.
sponsor.
On Saturday, March 28th at 3 p.m.
All right.
of the Sharing the Love Ministry. On May 2nd and 3rd, the women of Antioch will proudly be holding their...
All right, so that's pretty much it. So I've already got music. I've already got everything. So this is the final for church. So now I'm just going to go over here to deliver. I'm going to set it at the YouTube presets, and I normally do VA, video announcements. Then the date, 03/01/2020. I'm going to send that to, what drive is that? Yeah, my F drive. And save. And then we're going to render that out. Then I'm just going to upload this to the church computers, put this on ProPresenter, put it on our website, put it on YouTube, put it on Facebook. And that's pretty much it. And I'm going to schedule this to show at noon, because I don't want people to see this before church. Normally people will see this in church, and then by the time people leave from church, they can go and share this at wherever place it needs to go. And I think that's about it. So hopefully y'all enjoyed just seeing what goes into the background of me doing this stuff for my church. Really, if you go through this modular approach, it makes it very easy. And like I said, what I plan on doing is not this week, obviously, and not next week because I'm gonna be out of town, but I want to actually go through and try and do all of this using the templates that were done on Canva. So be on the lookout for that. If you like this type of content, I would appreciate a like, consider subscribing, and hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos or do other live streams and other stuff like this to help modernize your media ministry. This is AJ. We will see y'all on the next video. Later.